Hi, my name's Belinda. I'm a meditation teacher and I'm so happy you're here. My channel is all about meditation, building spiritual wealth and getting rich on the inside. So if that sounds appealing to you, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. And today's video, I want to talk about a really important topic, the dark night of the soul, which is something we all go through on our spiritual journey, and I really want to share what helped me and my experience. Before I dive in, I wanted to let you know, if you're new here, I do have a free mini course on my website with 5 10-minute meditation audios, which are an amazing way to kickstart your meditation journey and getting rich on the inside. So please subscribe if you'd like to access that free mini course. So the subject of a dark night of the soul, there's a little bit to explain before I even really get into the core of that, but it's part of most people's spiritual journey, and I want to explain what helped me, which I wish I had this video. I wish someone told me when I was going through it. But to break things down initially, of course we have a human part, and then we have this eternity, and of course they're so meshed together in us, we can't separate them. But when we start to have a spiritual awakening, we are realizing that some of our personality and identity isn't something that's actually true and real and eternal. It is something that has come from us interacting with other people and what society tells us about ourselves. And some of these stories that society has told us, like your teacher saying you can't sing, or a person in school saying you smell, like all these sorts of crazy things, we collect them and collect them and collect them. And after a while, we think that's who we are. So when we normally start our spiritual awakening and doing work, a lot of these stories we start to unravel, and we're like, well, I know that's not true, that's not part of me, and we're just letting go, and we're letting go. And they're not just the stories that other people are telling us, but often they're deep triggers and wounds about ourselves that we've been so identified with for a long time. When we completely let all that go because we realize it's not true, if we haven't built a solid foundation in our being, in our eternity, we just feel like so empty, so lost. Like you don't have, all your passions are gone, you don't feel excited about life, nothing is inspiring you, and you just you've just lost everything and you don't know who you are. If you have built a solid foundation in your spiritual wealth with your being is just like bursting out with light and is kind of okay about all this. And even if you're feeling sad on the outside and going through a range of emotions, the being is like this bright light that's kind of burning through it all. So I had at least 2 times where I wasn't strongly identified enough with my being. I hadn't built that aspect of my spiritual wealth. So when I had the dark night of the soul, I had all these feelings like, I've been doing all this spiritual work and now I just feel depressed and angry, and I didn't feel good at all. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like so confused. I don't feel passionate about dance or music or all the things that I used to love. And then slowly after time, your ego kind of like your ego picks up the pieces and it makes a new identity, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm kind of new again. And so this happened to me a couple of times, and then the final, or I shouldn't say the final, because it happens in different ways, but there was a time where I felt that I was letting go of a lot of stuff. And it's just like anytime you're letting go of things, there's kind of this like mourning, or it's still a little bit painful. But then the light of my being was stronger, it was there, and it was just like shining out, and it was such a revelation for me. And so the lesson in this was that as much as we do a lot of like shadow work or work on ourselves, whether it's so that we can attract in an ideal partner, or we just want to be a better person, or whatever it is, if we're not balancing that shadow work or the personality work and letting go, if we're not balancing that with a really solid spiritual practice so that we can build something on the inside, it can lead to these dark night of the souls happening more and more. And for sure, there is no 1 + 1 = 2 formula with this at all. Spiritual growth is wild, and it's up to the source energy universe how it unfolds. We don't have control about that at all. But I feel like as an over general view, having a strong spiritual practice to help you identify with this source energy whilst you're letting go, or doing some of this inner work, is just so foundational and so important. So if I'm going through a wobbly period with my emotions, I feel still that I can be really solid in my being. My being is there holding me through it, and that just helps so much. So if you're on the path of really letting go of old stories, and I know this is really important for anyone who's doing a lot of manifestation work or getting on a road to recovery, there's a lot of like learning to how to let go of the past, which is so vital, but just balance it with your spiritual practice too. So I'm really interested if you found this helpful today, or if you have a similar experience, or what your spiritual practice is to balance out the other amazing work that you're doing in your life to feel more aligned. And remember, if you haven't started meditation and you're feeling a little bit lost, you can check out all of my courses below and see if one of those resonates with you. So I hope this has been helpful. That is my highest intention. So please like, share, comment, and I'll see you in another video.